Good morning, zookeepers, and yes, I said zookeepers. I know it's Sunday and I usually have a Prehistoric Kingdom video up, but I've been so excited with the Zookeepers animal pack that's came out on Planet Zoo, which Frontier was so nice enough to provide me with. I just really wanted to make another enclosure in our DLC zoo, and today we're going to be doing the African Spurred Tortoise, something I've been excited to do. If you can't really tell from my voice, I'm slightly losing it, got a bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a cold going on, so it does make things a little bit difficult. I will try and give a commentary all the way through this and try and tell you what I'm doing. Hopefully I don't lose my voice to the end of it, because it's roughly about 8 minutes long, this video. Anyways, I am designing a fence, and I did the same with what I did with the Kirk's Dick Deck, where I got a few different examples of enclosures. I will probably bring them up on the screen right now, and one of them was like this really low fence made with panels, which I really liked, and I decided that is going to be the one I'll be using for part of the enclosure, because some of the enclosures were a mix of being like high and tall, where the zookeepers kind of entered the enclosure as tall, where the guests could see into the enclosure. The walls were short, and yeah, that's the kind of vibe I went for. I saw a lot of questionable enclosures for the African Spurred Tortoise that looks very yeah, just sort of homemade is probably the nicest way I will place it. Then there was some very spectacular ones using lots of fake rocks inside buildings. However, I didn't really want to build a building here. I wanted them to be outside and then have a little hut in the middle. Now a tiny bit of inspiration for the hut in the middle came from the Blackpool Zoo enclosure for the sulcata tortoise, which I really do enjoy. It's the first thing you see, and I really do love that enclosure. So this building I'm building in the middle has a slight inspiration from that, in the sense it's somewhat technically it's not in the middle at Blackpool Zoo. It's how can I explain it? It's kind of like the enclosures come out of it, and you've got a small one at the back and then a bigger enclosure at the front of the building, but it's kind of almost this hexagon kind of shape. So that's what I'm going for, and I really enjoy it. Did I say a hexagon? I'm trying to think. I might have made an octagon here. I think. 1 second, because I do my voiceovers after. I know a lot of people write scripts, but to be honest, because I make a video every day of the week, I don't think I have enough time in my day to write a script for the video I do. Anyways, we'll ignore the shape of the building. It's a building. It's in the center, and this is where we're going to be putting the bedding area, as well as some heat lamps for them, and try and make it look kind of nice. So for a while I was sort of experimenting with how I wanted to do the roof. I did kind of really want straw roof, but no matter what I did, it wasn't going to plan. It looked too messy, and I feel like I could have been possibly spending like maybe over an hour just on the roof to try and get it right, and I didn't have that much time to do so. So in the end, I kind of go for a tin roof, and I kind of make it this sort of way. It's kind of messy up close, but from a distance it actually looks all right. And I do like tin roofs. I like the aesthetic of corrugated iron. I don't know why. It looks nice to me, especially on roofs. I know it's not practical because how noisy it is in the rain, but yeah, nevertheless. Anyways, on the inside of the building, I make it so it looks like it's been plastered, so the building look like it's got structure hidden behind the plastering, and also adds a little bit of insulation, making it nice and warm in there, especially on those colder days, because in the winter months you'd lock them inside of here. It's not like massive space, but it's got a load of space, more than they probably want. They'll just food, walk around a little bit. It's not like the warmest of times, but you're trying to keep them as warm as possible, so they're not massively majorly bothered by it. But it does get smelly in there. Inside of tortoises' houses like this, when they're locked in here, it's unpleasant smell, but it is a smell. Let's just put it that way. And anyways, I want to make some slight structure for the roof that goes into walls, making it look like the structures in the wall, keeping the roof up. And then obviously, because the roof is thin, you're going to see some of the structure. Now, this is the smallest metal objects we now have in the game, I believe. Either that, I'm completely blind, one of the two. But this one came in the Zookeeper's pack as well, which I really like. So I tried making this nice little structure here, which I'm going to be using to support the roof. I'm going to be doing like a X shape. It gets a bit messy in the X, but again, I didn't have much time. It's always something I can go back to and try and figure out how to make it look neater. But to be honest, you don't really see it unless you're in there. And I quite like the look of it, the way I finished it off anyways. And it's mainly there for, one, to look like the structure to the building. It does look quite big in there, I suppose. But then as well, it's another place for the lights to hang down. These are going to be my fake heat lights. Which honestly I really liked. Anyways, as well, we want a little door on the outside that we can shut them in with, so I went to work with making just a nice little simple door and a little door frame for it, so it just looks a bit neater, looks a bit tidier, and carries on with the theme of the building and the rest of the enclosure. Now, as you can see, I was fighting with the wood a wee bit. I don't know why it was such a fight, but nevertheless, we got there in the end. And then these are just the little heat lights. What I do is I make the metal bit black and then I make the light red, and it does give this like heat light sort of effect, which I really do enjoy. And then I made a very simple shallow pond. One of the enclosures I saw had a pond in it, and as well in Blackpool Zoo, theirs also has a pond for the Sulcata tortoise, which looks really nice. And as well, I went to the back here making a door and making it look neat with the rest of the building. And honestly, I was quite happy with how this was looking already without much of the decoration in. Added a few little enrichment items, food and water places for them. I already made a pass with the sand the way I wanted it. Put a ton of rocks down, and then I put a ton of grass down, a bit like I did with the Kirk Dick deck. I am really enjoying this sort of style of making your enclosures more lively. Like, they've got areas where zookeepers don't need to do much because they want to add some natural plants to the area as well. Obviously, you're going to get the plants of the country sort of seeding up in there, like those pesky nettles. They're everywhere. You can never escape nettles in unless you're in a country that doesn't have them. Then you're very lucky, because they are a very annoying plant. A very annoying plant, but pretty much part of culture and also the environment, so I definitely had to add them. And then after I did a load of like native, like African grassland plants, I went around just adding a few other plants that I really like the look of, because when you look in a lot of enclosures, they don't always plant plants that are native to that animal's country, mainly because some may not survive, or they may be expensive or not readily available to get hold of, and it's just cheaper and easier to plant a lot of plants that look something similar, or just make the enclosure look nice that isn't going to be poisonous to the animal itself. And then with the pond area, I use this folks stone. Originally my idea was behind using smooth concrete, but then I was like, I don't know if it'd fit the look of it. It's a bit rough and tough anyways, as it is, the kind of feel. And this sort of makes me think of those like plastic prefab ponds you can buy at your local garden centre, and I really like the look and the way it finished off. Anyways, this is the enclosure itself, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's quite nice. Again, it's very low bearing. These are little animals after all. If you do too much foliage and you make no paths where there's nothing growing on there, you're going to have a hard time finding this creature, and I really wanted to be able to see them, as this is my favourite creature in the Zookeeper's animal pack. Honestly, I was so happy when they added it, and they did such a great job with the model. Like, I feel like they are really highly detailed. Like, you can see the pattern in the shells, all the individual scales, and it looks absolutely amazing. They did a great job with it. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you some inspiration with your builds. And yeah, honestly, again, thank you to Frontier for providing me with the Zookeeper's Animal Pack. And as always, thanks for watching. Till next time, I'll see you later.